let's start having a look at the NanoFraser software. As you can see here, we have different tabs in our software. We have the Setup tab, TSPL configuration, laser configuration, geometry, session, and analysis. The typical workflow of the NanoFraser software is using the software from left to right. So we will first do our setup, then in the setup we have to set up our username, type of cantilevers, and export folder information. Then when we're happy with it, we will move towards the TSPL configuration. In this case, we have to set up properly our tip and our cantilever to be doing TSPL. In case we want to use the laser, we have to do the laser configuration as well, of course, for NanoFraser Explore version. Then once everything is kind of greened out, we have to move towards the geometry. In the geometry, we import our designs and we can do some editing. Lastly, we have to go towards the session. So in the session, the warm-up, we can decide where to place our designs, we can see our samples, and we can control the processing parameters for the thermal scanning probe lithography and the laser. We can also see an analysis tab. In this case, when we want to see more in details the patterning and some feedback parameters and some corrections. This is something that we can do while patterning or after patterning. So we can see on the right part of our screen that we have the view of our camera. So in this case we have a cantilever which is close to the surface already, and we can control the motion of our cantilever by these stage movement options on X and Y and Z. So we can either pick some values that are already pre-inserted or just type any sort of values that we would like for our cantilever. So if we want to move by 10 microns, we can just put 10, press enter, and we will move on the right. This is going up on Y by 10 microns. It's hard to detect now, but if we zoom in, we see that we're moving up by 10, and the same is for Z. So if we move up by 20, we will see that we will lose a little bit of focus on the cantilever. So in this case, the cantilever is going up. If we're using a NanoFraser Explore, the focus is also controlled by the software, and we can decide to move up and down the focus motor as well. So if we move up by 50, for example, we will see that we will lose some focus on the surface, and we are actually refocusing on the cantilever. But yeah, if we keep on moving up, we'll see that we lose focus gradually. So let's focus again on the surface. Okay. One last thing that we should mention before starting diving into the NanoFraser software and its applications is the information tab. So in the information tab, you can see the serial number of your machine, the software version, when this software version was released. You can find the contact information for our support, our address and our telephone number, as well as the user manual, which is well integrated with our software. So whenever you are operating the software in any tab, you can press this question mark, and this will lead you to the appropriate section of the user manual. So Especially when starting using the NanoFraser software, this function will be quite useful for new users. You can also find our knowledge database with some application notes, publication, the user manual, again in PDF, and the recipe book. And lastly, you can also have access to the main log of the NanoFraser operations that you do. Lastly, you will also see, while using the NanoFraser software, this help function or hints. So in case something is not working or there are some issues with the software operations, you will either find some errors here, so some red boxes appearing with some hints or with some explanation of what's not working. So keep an eye on this tab, because sometimes can be quite helpful in understanding why we're not really obtaining what we want with our NanoFraser. So this is just a general overview of what we can do with the software, the main tabs, and we will dive into specific tabs and specific operation in the following videos.